So, all right, y'all. We're going to get straight into it. Enough about the Lions, man. Check this out. I know we're experimenting right now, but you all are going to be moving to an unknown, disclosed territory in about a week. You already signed your lease. Y'all made that leap. Y'all took the leap. And y'all came here for a specific amount of time. All right. And now, God has called you all away to a whole new land, a whole new territory. And, you know, my question today is, both of y'all can answer this. And we'll probably begin with Dylan right now. We're going to move on to Trey. And based off of your experience in Austin up until this point, one, what has God revealed to you? What has he been speaking to you? Okay. And what gets you ignited about this move that you're making this week? And what can you share just about what you learned in the faith that may help someone else continuously take these type of leaps of faith as well?
He's leaving right now.
He's leaving. That's the leap of faith.
The cashier running after the kid. That's an Easter egg. All right. Coming here was a big leap of faith. Meeting you the first day, massive encouragement, massive sign that, like, all right, things are going to be all right. Honestly, the whole time we felt very uncertain about things, right? Like, there wasn't, slowly as you know, we got jobs or we met people, it started to come together and feel like, all right, we are being cared for still. Like, God is watching us and has a plan. I'd say going into the next thing, I'm more content with that thought. I'm not as scared, I guess. Like, there's still some fear and doubt, but like way less than coming here. Doing it once and we're still here, we're still alive. Like, there's part of you that thinks, like, your animal instincts, like, are we gonna die doing this thing or whatever? But no, this time I feel a lot more content that God is gonna provide in some way. Don't know how, don't know who we're gonna meet, where we're gonna go, like what church we're gonna end up at or anything like that, but I have faith through the people we met here were all like gifts from God. Like, different groups we went to, people that we didn't even, like, meeting you in that shop, or one of our other groups, we were sitting in church and a older woman and older man in front of us that we'd seen before but never talked to decided to turn around and talk to us, which led to 6 months of going to their house once a week with all these different people. And we met all these different people and became friends. So I don't know, I just have faith that things are going to be fine. I don't know.
Yeah. How about you, Trey?
I think something that's been hitting a lot, like, recently, especially as I'm coming to a close of this job, is that it's like the cliche, but there is peace in the chaos with God, where every day was like I get up at around 5 and pulling myself out of bed and being like, what am I doing? What is this joke? And especially like when I was younger, I'm 20 now, even last year before we moved here, the idea of working 40 hours a week sounded like ludicrous. And I could never do that. It's crazy. And living here and having more of an actual life experience instead of just living in my dad's house doing nothing, basically, it kind of taught me that you can do any of that nonsense because it's not actually what matters. It's if you have God, it doesn't matter, basically. And every day I'm standing on the top of the parking garage in the middle of downtown and just like, God, please get me out of this, dude. Please just make the day fly and help me get my 4 cents that I get from being here and just help me through it. And every day he does. And I still struggle a lot with it, but definitely with each day of that struggle, it gets a little bit easier. Yeah. That's all I got.
Let me ask. So, you all are taking a leap to move now, okay, what is your expectation now for this faith journey with God? Those who haven't watched your baptism video, you two literally have come from being atheists before. That's not even a title of yours. Y'all are in a space where now y'all are even arguing with other folks, encouraging people to believe in Jesus now, which is profound at this young of an age as well too. And now you're taking another move of faith, which reminds me of Abraham, where God tells him, hey, go, leave your family, leave your kindred, go to a land that I'm going to send you. And he just leaves in faith. Now that you're walking with God and he's called you to make this move where y'all didn't really even see coming up until this point again, what is your new expectation for possibly what God is doing? And how do you not even rationalize, how do you reason with God telling you to do this type of move?
That's a good question. I'm trying actually to remove expectation a little bit because I think coming here, I had part of me was like, life's gonna be perfect now. Like this is gonna be the promised land. And again, things were actually really good, but it didn't. You're still you. You're still going through some of the same stuff you're going through. I think as we were coming to the idea that we maybe should move again, I was putting some expectation on what I wanted out of the next thing, but I'm trying to remove all that and just be like, listen, I don't know what's going to happen. It might not be what I envision, but that doesn't matter because whatever does happen is going to teach me things that I need to know, help me get through other things. It's going to help me, get closer with some family members that are down there and try to heal some of those relationships. So trying to remove expectation is actually the real thing. Because I think once you put expectations on it, you're going to say, well, God failed me on that. But it's like, no, if he's writing the script, who am I to try to convince the writer to change his mind? Like he knows better kind of thing. So
That's good.
Pretty similar, honestly. Like trying to remove expectation, because coming here, I definitely deluded myself into believing like this is it. Gonna get a book deal. It's gonna be great. This is why I'm going to Austin, to be rich. And then obviously through that didn't happen, and I'm kind of glad that it didn't happen because, especially at this point in life, I feel like that would be a lot to handle as well as like grappling with the faith. And so I think it just makes it takes away from it putting expectations on it. I think you can have wants and hopes, but I think if you put all your faith in those hopes, you're just going to be disappointed because you're putting your faith in sand until at that point. Yeah.
Who has God now revealed to you about your identity? Who do you feel you are now versus who you felt like you were back then?
before coming to it at all,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I mean, that's also been a big part of this whole journey is unlearning the identity I'd created for myself. Because growing up, again, divorced household, you have no foundation, so you're kind of just like, especially being an atheist, you have literally nothing to cling to. So I created this identity for myself that, looking back, took over my entire life. So I had messed up relationships because of this, just like by consuming all the self help content and everything. Again, I learned a lot in business stuff. I learned a lot, but it became all I had. To where like when I started to realize, when I came to the faith, let go of some of the greed I had and let go of the idea that all I was this entrepreneur kid. It was hard. At first, I was like, who am I without that? But now that I've kind of really let go of a lot of that, I think it reinforces that you already have an identity being a child of God. So it's like all your life you can try to delude yourself into clinging to things to make your identity, but it's all not important really. And that being a child of God is who you always were meant to be. It wasn't about your job or your relationship or whatever. So, yeah.
I think before coming to it, I had a lot of conversations with Sensei, the old mentor, about how I didn't, through the depression, I sort of disassociated a lot and was consciously aware of like that I didn't really know who I was or know my identity, which I think is the classic cliche for basically a 16-year-old. Uh, and it was kind of through that where writing started to happen, and I was like, it's kind of cool, kind of like that. But I still was sort of lost, and it wasn't until coming to faith that, kind of like he said, where once you realize that you are a child of God, the rest sort of just falls into place. Where it makes you more confident in the things that you actually do enjoy and want to do, and because of that foundation, you're not scared of falling or falling away from it or anything like that. And so, coming to the faith has let me express and embrace, I think, my more creative side, and has only made me realize and love that more as each thing I find interests in a lot more things than I ever thought I could. Because I always thought I was the guy that just didn't like anything.
Yeah.
And then I realized, I actually like a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You just have to do it, basically. Yeah. And with the foundation of God, I feel comfortable in failing at doing those things to actually start doing them. And so I think it's, without God, you don't have an identity, kind of.
Yeah. That's I'm gonna ask this, like, which I was thinking about when you talk about identity. I was gonna veer off to speak about skeptics, but let me touch on something too. I know before my identity, I thought I was just this ball player, playing basketball. That was gonna be my thing until I ran into a heart situation, and it was like, okay, who am I actually? Then the next thing you try to do is, okay, try to figure it out, try to please my parents, my Nigerian parents. So, okay, I must be here just to please them. So let me do pre-pharmacy. All right, end up doing pre-pharmacy and then realize, I'm depressed, I don't like my life right now, and doing every single thing, drugs, premarital sex, overindulging in alcohol, overindulging in video games, you know what I mean? Just overindulging in life's pleasures, quote unquote, to the point where I realized that I wasn't getting my identity from that either. The pleasure was almost overstimulation. I'm still lost up until this point. And it's not until, like you said, you found your identity when you came to Christ. You found your identity when you came to Christ. And when you come to Christ, you start enjoying the things that may not even be rational. Sometimes it's not completely entirely tied to just money, mammon. But like when we're in the world, we try to place our identity. I wanted to be a pharmacist because my identity was rooted in how much money can I possibly make. There's a pride of that comes in. But then you realize, wait, I'm not even here to please people that I don't even know or look like live up to the Jones. Oh yeah, I want money. Absolutely, don't get me wrong, but that's not what my identity should be tied into, which is why doing stuff like this, talking on a podcast or making videos to create impact, it may seem like there's nothing coming out of that initially, but these are some of the things where I feel is most fruitful, where I can say, man, I feel like I did something right today, And my question would be, how do you challenge the people who are skeptics? That's one thing that I realized about y'all. Y'all get into it with people who came from where you were at before, not believing, myself included. I'm so intrigued, and I would like to get y'all perspectives of how would you challenge a believer to be open to the faith of Jesus Christ?
I think that definitely depends on the person. I've learned that a little bit, that depending who you are, how you've grown up, what you're into, like the way Jesus might make sense to you is going to be different. For me, because I'm very analytical, rational, it was always the historical side of Christianity, looking at all the religions and seeing that literally nothing stacks against Jesus and the resurrection. If you go and research that, you will find answers there that will surprise you if you're open to actually looking. I will say, again, I know people that have purposely looked at only what the skeptics will say about those things. You have to balance it and see what both sides are saying and come to a conclusion on your own. But besides that, believing in just God, I feel like, is the first step. Because if you're not believing in anything, it's going to be hard to jump to this figure of Jesus. I think the main thing with God for me at first was looking around at the fine tuning of the earth and the like everything that is around us is perfectly in tune to work. And if everything is really random, how do you put a seed in the ground and food comes out that we eat? How does the rain nourish that seed and create food? Like, you start to look around and realize how perfect this little habitat we have is. Um, Besides that, look at your own life and just, if everything was random, how are we in this civilization? How anything that's ever worked out in your life, how has it worked out? Think about all the coincidences and the people you've met and lucky breaks you have had. What are the odds that that would happen in a completely random universe? Even if you might not like your life, but you've still been blessed, and you could probably, even if you're a denier of like any faith or God, see that, wow, that is weird that certain things have worked out. I've made any of the connections I have made. So I would say start there.
I think, like he said, it depends on who you're talking to. If you're talking to an atheist, I think, at least what helped me realize, like, oh, okay, maybe I'm going about this wrong when I was an atheist, is just the question of why do you have faith in yourself? Because like I hated myself, so I was like, wait, why do I trust myself if I don't trust myself? And so that was the first knock in my armor, where I was like, I'm an idiot. I have no idea what I'm talking about. And I know that, but why do I believe that I have the answers to the universe? And then, on top of the fact, him bring like the historical side to it, and me looking into it, I was like, okay, there's a lot of that. Cool. So I think that's the breaking down your walls. I noticed a lot of atheists, and so was I. A lot of us claim to be open-minded, but we're actually not. And I think actually breaking down that wall to where you're actually listening and not keeping your bias, saying you're listening, but then actually just trying to figure out a counter to what they're saying. Yeah. Actually listening, letting it sink in, and letting just that thought process kind of just circulate your mind and let it stew, and then come to your conclusions, basically. If you're talking to someone in another like religion, like that worships like false idols, I think ask them why, kind of a similar question, like, okay, why is that one correct? What's like your basis on that? And then back it up historically. Also, I think that's like kind of the easiest way, in my opinion, because that also helped me a lot coming to it. Where I know that guy Sensei, he's sort of come around to the belief that they're all like the same, basically, or that they all came. It's like a newer way of thinking. I think that they're all real, quote unquote, but they're all they all happen at a specific point in history to be perfect for that time period, but that they're all real, and that just doesn't make any sense. Because if you actually look at each what they're teaching, they're like polar opposites, telling you to not trust the other ones. Yeah. So I think look at the material that they're actually taking in, ask them personally, and just say why do you believe it, and what is your rationale and reasoning for why you believe it's actually true, and start there. I think that like you can't start, I think, with the massive like hitters. I think it all starts with just like a little chisel, like a little chink in the armor, and then eventually after enough of those, one well placed hit will just explode.
Yeah. How has it been for you, Dylan? I'm gonna ask you the same thing. To see your brother come to the faith and encourage you. Does it encourage you and vice versa? Because I know for me, there's so many people that have stand firm in their faith with a level of conviction that makes me question, or made me question, okay, whoa, why are they so firm? Why is their faith so strong? And it's like, it's contagious, to be honest. Yeah, it is. How has it been having a brother who is also in the faith? How can you share about that for you?
Yeah. I'd say it's helped me a lot throughout the past year and a half that we've really become Christians. Especially because I was flirting with these ideas first and came to it, and then was pointing out some of the stuff I'd learned to Trey. And at first, he was fighting me. He thought he had lost me to the nut house. It was over. But as he started to actually open-mindedly look at the same stuff I was looking at, he came to the same conclusion. Like, there's something here.
Yeah.
As far as encouragement, I mean, his faith, I would say, is stronger than mine, which is cool to see. He went for, like, I started this, but he's surpassed. Not to put it in like a race thing, but like he's surpassed, I feel like, my faith, where has the childlike faith that Jesus talks about, which is cool to see. And it is encouraging because, we were talking about it earlier, that Romans talking about faith comes from hearing. And what you just said about being contagious is very true. That when you're around other believers and they remind you of these truths that you've already learned, but the enemy or whoever starts to chisel away and you forget. Having someone that does have that sincere belief helps keep my tank full. Because even though I've gone down all the rabbit holes, I still have periods of doubt. Even though there's not like new information or like a new revelation of like, oh, this is made up. It's just over time. I don't know if it's the enemy or what, but yeah, he's been a big help to keeping me going.
I mean, I'd like to say that I have a couple cheat codes though, because I had like a couple experiences that really boosted that. So it's a little not unfair, but like
It's a bit unfair.
just I guess I don't think I have more faith in you. I think you overthink a lot.
Oh yeah.
And I think I do too, but I think setting your net zero, your base, as just, Christ resurrected. That was probably the easiest thing for me in terms of accepting that, where it's, okay, in my brain, I believe it. In my heart, I believe it. So it's kind of just Christ resurrected. But I think just setting that in your brain in stone makes it easier to not doubt as often. Because it's Christ resurrected. And even when you talk about it, trying to be particular in how you speak of it, in saying, if he did. Actually, when. I think the terminology that we talk about all the time, has a larger impact on our thought process than we realize. Where when we listen to sad music, telling me I'm sad, when I'm sad, I'm just going to start saying I'm sad.
Yeah.
So I think it's been really cool, especially, again, you basically coming to it first and spreading the gospel to me, literally, with Gage and Phoenix, stuff like that. It's been cool to see just the actual transformation. I know you think there hasn't been one, or at least as steep of one, but there definitely has been. I mean, come on. We're across the country, going back across the country again. And if you told us what we were doing now 5 years ago, neither of us would have believed it.
Yeah.
And I'm not scared. Like, I was on medication for anxiety, and I'm just like, I'm just going to go across the country and start a new life. Again. So I think it would have been significantly harder without you, because obviously I don't know if I would have come to it. But I think you put yourself down when it comes to your faith level, your faith meter. But I think you're higher than you think, and I think it's just actually realizing that.
Yeah.
But I think without you, we wouldn't be here right now. Yeah. Without God and without you spreading that, without God using you as a vessel, we would not be here right now.
Yeah.
So I think that alone is proof of your faith, because we're here.
Yeah.
And we're leaving on Friday. So, yeah.
So I want to conclude and say, that right there is powerful, because this is biblical. We see the accounts in the Bible of one brother going to get his other brother, all right? And literally them both being in the faith. And so when I see you two, that's what I see. And no matter what happened, like, you literally were the reason, Dylan, that your brother Trey has come to the faith. and God is just doing the rest. And you standing firm and walking with Christ is helping him continuously stay firm more than you know. You walking away as firm as his is, it may have him like, oh snap, what am I? Hold on, wait a minute, start questioning things, right? But even though he may still stick to the faith. So it's like y'all have a powerful dynamic right now that y'all are leaving together. You say you talking about being on anxiety medication, and things that you're doing takes legit faith. Your anxiety would be out the roof, right? Oh God, you telling me to go where? And I gotta right now during this time, I got a stable job. I'm finally doing this. I'm finally doing this, and we get to this place of stability where it's like, all right, God wipes that thing clean. I need you to go. I had an example this week of a job that I was working that I told you doing deliveries, and I was doing like multiple, and just learned the other day they terminated me completely. I tried to email them to get the opportunity back. They're like, "Nah, you violated the term. Don't even respond back to this message." And so I mean, oh, okay, we're doing this now, God. And I just prayed, Lord, lead me down your path. And what did he do? He started to prune some things. Some things have to be pruned. So he's pruning what was comfort to you now so that you can go. All right, go out to what's going to eventually become comfortable. But there's a destination that y'all are going to where people need this level of faith. And to see two come together is powerful. Y'all get to on a day-to-day basis impart spiritual gifts, strength, exhortation, encouragement, and that's powerful. And the reason I wanted to do this setup right now is because y'all are encouraging me in my faith. Y'all have helped me also push forward to have better relationships in my life, even with my own brother as well too. And I just know from the viewers that are watching this, getting the opportunity to hear you all speak, it's going to speak to so many different layers. And so just want to say thank you all for saying yes, or maybe I forced y'all to be honest. But hey, I thank y'all for this time, and like this is us signing out. Yeah.
Thank you.